What's the deal? What's the deal? It's your boy Kelly Flicks, and we back with another episode of HBC Flicks, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but mainly, we're gonna talk about Division II football and the SIAC, right? If you don't know, we've been following the SIAC pretty closely this year, and now they have some very pivotal games coming up, including a very big Division II versus Division I matchup with Albany State and FAMU, and I'm gonna keep it a buck right now, right? The spread is 6.5 points in favor of Albany State. So it's gonna be something to look out for. But I want to give us a quick recap of week. This is D2's week one. All right, it's D2's week one. So we'll recap week one real quick, and we'll go and hang out with my boy HBCUFC. He has great graphics. We'll kick it with his graphics. We'll go through some of the top players of this past week. All right, so week two. All right, week two or week one for us D2 fans. All right, some of the top rushers. Right, we have a couple of D2 guys in there. You know, Chris Mosley of North Carolina Central, a D1 guy, leads the pack with 352 rushing yards. We're looking at a guy named Fabian Duncan from Allen. Now has 260 yards on the ground so far. Okay, so he's looking pretty good. We're looking at an Allen team that right now is 0-2. They just took a tough loss to Livingstone, and the week before he lost to Division I Morehead State. So they're in a difficult position right here, but we're looking at a guy that might be a standout athlete in Fabian Duncan. Okay, of course, Trey Holly's in there for Southern. Jason Collins, another standout at Morgan State, who played pretty well against Towson. I think he scored some of the only touchdowns for Morgan State in that second half. I might be wrong, though. But then also you got Kendrick Rhymes down at Tennessee State. Kendrick Rhymes really was tearing things up for Tennessee State. He's proven to be that rock. He was already a proven running back at Southern, moving up to Tennessee State. We're not seeing much of a fall off, so I like him a lot. Of course, Amon Miller's there. Jacon Snipes is there. And then we got Curtis Allen, right? Division II. Curtis Allen from Virginia Union. He fills in the shoes of Jada Byers, right? If you can't recall, Jada Byers was just tearing things up in the CIAA the past couple of years. And now he's moved on to professional leagues, and his backup, Curtis Allen, right, 6'2", kind of built like a tree, okay? He's there at Virginia Union, and he's on this top 10 list currently of rushing yard leaders. At the bottom, you guys can't really see, but Cam McCoy, Southern's quarterback, is the 10th. He's the 10th? Yeah, 10th leading rusher in HBC football, interestingly enough. All right, so now we'll go to the passing yard leaders. We'll go through all these top stats before we get into some highlights from this past week. But for some of the passing yard leaders, what I thought was the most interesting, right, we was talking about Norfolk last night and Virginia State and how they played against them. Well, starting quarterback, how you say his name? Oh, it's Rashawn Matthews. He's a weird spelling. Rashawn Matthews, though, man, top passer in HBC football right now after playing against Norfolk State. And the week before, I can't remember the game they played in week one. Not sure. But he had 642 yards through the air. Top passer in HBC football is coming from a Division II team. Who would have thought, right? Then behind him, you see Andrew Body there, sandwiched in between Kelvin Durham, right? My favorite quarterback in HBC football. He takes a trip up from Fort Valley State over to Johnson C. Smith, and Johnson C. Smith has played pretty well, right? They just played against Valdosta State, knocked off a top 15 opponent in Division II football, and Kelvin Durham was really the reason for that, right? With 3 rushing touchdowns. The quarterback with 3 rushing touchdowns, right, to get the upset. That shows that Kelvin Durham does whatever it takes to get the win. He's a hard-nosed guy. He always puts in, as well as he can throw the ball, he can also run the ball, right? True dual threat. And a guy that you really want in the red zone. And if you just look through his career, he's been in so many different big moments, from the Red Tails Classics to the games against Albany State to the games against Benedict on Thursday nights. He's been through the ringer. You want to talk about Division II football. He's played against all the big dogs. Okay, he's even played a game against Johnson C. Smith, his current team that he's on right now. Okay, Kelvin Durham comes with a wealth of experience, and I was not surprised to see him play so well against Valdosta State in his senior season. Not surprised at all. Okay, we also got Isaiah Nobles. Oh, my bad, Nobles. Isaiah Knowles from Albany State. He's one of my favorite HBC quarterbacks. He just had 7 touchdowns this past weekend. 6 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, right? 13 carries for about 90 yards. And he's not a runner, right? But I talked to the D2 guys, my boy Kendrick, Randall, Damian. I talked to him last year, and I was saying if Isaiah Knowles and David Wright alike, if they could somehow find ways to become a threat on the ground, that opens up everything so much more when we play against these defenses because they have great arms, rocket arms, great accuracy, pinpoint accuracy. But at some point, though, you're gonna run into a defense that just the coverage is just right for you, right? And you're gonna need to run the ball. You're gonna need that to put on the ground, and maybe it's not just handing off to your running back. Maybe it's taking it yourself. So seeing these like 13 carries, I believe, from Isaiah Knowles this past weekend, it makes me very hopeful that his development as a quarterback is going well. And I see what Quinn Gray is doing at Albany State now. I see the development. This is a quarterback that came from the Navy University, the Naval Academy. Okay, he was running wing T 2 years ago. He walks back into Coach Quinn Gray's system, Albany State, and now he has 7 touchdowns a game, right? He's 7 touchdowns, 4 or 5 touchdowns. He's throwing the ball around the park. He's a top 5 quarterback at this point through passing yards. But to me, I think he's the best quarterback in HBCU football. I don't think it's I think there are a couple quarterbacks that are up there with him, right? I would put Quad Brown up there. I like Quad Brown a lot. I like Andrew Body a lot. Jacoby and Morgan, for me, I'm kind of understanding. I think off-script was right about him. I think he is just a game manager. He's a good quarterback, but he's a game manager. He's not going to throw over 300 yards a game. That's just not his style of play. All right, but kicking it off with the rest of his list, we got number 5, Walker Harris, quarterback out of North Carolina Central. Probably the most accurate quarterback on this list. He in the past, I think he's struggling in big games, but now I'm starting to see that he's stepping into the spotlight. I'm liking his dual threat ability also. But they got a guy I really want to talk about, which is Jameer Dismukes out of Allen, right? So if you just noticed, we got Jameer Dismukes out of Allen, the quarterback, who's a top 10 passer in HBCU football, right? And then we got one sec. There we go. Then we got the running back from Allen up here too, right? On the top rushing yards, Fabian Duncan, right? 260 rushing yards. This might be a sneaky good Allen offense, right? You want to talk about a team that might have a lot of upside? It might be Allen University. Even though they had a tough 2-week stretch there, this team, as underfunded and everything that they are, they look like they might actually be a formidable opponent in SIAC. They might, I wouldn't say contending, but they could be a dark horse role or could play a spoiler role in this conference. But looking at it, Jameer Dismukes isn't that bad. He's not a bad quarterback at all. I'd like to see him much more, get out there and throw that ball some more. But I'm starting to warm up to this Allen University offense. Right, we'll figure out the defense, but the offense isn't too bad. Right underneath him, though, we got Noah Bodden. I'm pretty sure if you've been around HBCU football, you recall Noah Bodden, right? Noah Bodden was at Southern University to begin with. Well, not to begin with. He was at Grambling University to begin with Hugh Jackson. Then he moved on to Southern University with Eric Dooley as head coach. And since then, I'm not sure where he went in between, but now he's at Edward Waters, okay? So we're talking about an Edward Waters team. We're talking about an Edward Waters team with another quarterback with a lot of Division I experience. Very similar to what we saw with Jaron Russell when Jaron Russell was the quarterback at Edward Waters. He was a quarterback from Alcorn State. Okay, so we're looking at a guy like Noah Bodden that walks into a very good situation for a quarterback to excel in. Okay, he's at a spot right now where he really can feel comfortable. Okay, he's in a system that he knows. There's not many questions about what's going on, right? So I like Noah Bodden a lot. Kentucky State, Torrance Bardell is also on here. I haven't got a chance to see Kentucky State as much. Like I didn't even really get to see the Kentucky State and Albany State game in full, right? It's hard to see the replay. But he has been playing well. I like Kentucky State's offense. They had a good game in week 1 versus Central State. Or week 0 against Central State. So looking forward to seeing what he can do. The bottom of the list, you got R.J. Johnson from FAMU, and you got Otto Coons out of Norfolk. So let's get to these receivers, and then we'll get to some highlights. So of the receivers, I thought this was probably the most interesting. The top receiver on this list is a receiver from Kentucky State. It's a receiver from Kentucky State, guys. Like, I don't know, it's a little weird. It's a little awkward, We're not used to seeing Kentucky State have guys that are, top guys like this. But Darius, I'm going to try your name out. Darius Siphon, I believe is his name. Top receiver in all of HBCU football. Right now, he has 228 receiving yards, which is not that many through 2 weeks, to be honest. That's the amount of yards that a receiver could get in 1 week. So everything is just warming up. It's very early, but it's a Division II guy right now, being the top receiver in HBCU football. Kudos to you. Then below him, just below him, we got, not much of a surprise. We got Brian Lane out of Johnson C. Smith, man. I told you guys about Kelvin Durham and his ability to pass the ball. He's got plenty of targets out there, right? Like Brevin Caldwell, that's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's not even on this list, okay? His running mate, right? Brian Lane is on this list, 216 yards. Pretty good. Jalen Jones out of Alabama State is also on this list now. He's been balling out. He's come to be one of Andrew Body's favorite targets when you talk about playing receiver out there for Alabama State. So I'm not very surprised by that. Virginia State's I have a hard time saying his name too. Anjanae Bird, pretty good receiver. He's the one getting all those passes from that top quarterback we just mentioned. Okay, so Virginia State loves to put it in the air. They do a good job with it. You also got a receiver from Bluefield State up there, Brandon Wiley, and a couple other Division I guys. Okay, so those are our leaders through week 2, right? And what I'm really taking from this off the back is you really want strong quarterback play. Go back to the quarterbacks real quick. I think if you look at every quarterback on this list, their team either has a win or is playing well, right? I think this is probably the most important stat category of all these other lists, right? The passing yards category. In today's college football, you got to be good at passing the football to be a good team. There's very few teams. I would say it's probably 5% of college football teams that are winning teams that run the football more than they pass the football. Keep it a buck. I'm pretty sure most times that number is split in half, probably 50%. So when I say that in context, yeah, right? I'm not surprised Virginia State is playing well. They have the top quarterback and top passing quarterback in HBC football right now. I'm not surprised Alabama State just beat Southern 30-7, right? Andrew Body is among the top passing quarterbacks. Same with Johnson C. Smith with Kelvin Durham and how they beat Valdosta State, right? Big upset. But I'm not surprised because this is the top passing offense in HBC football, right? So when you look at some of these teams, the same pretty much all these guys, Isaiah knows. North Carolina Central just ran to a couple bumps in a row. You got to watch them. But they're playing pretty well. And then Jameer Disnukes. All these quarterbacks are playing well, okay? When these quarterbacks are playing well, your team is most likely winning, okay? So it's probably the most important stat category for me. But speaking of categories and what's good for you, all right, we're going to get into Edward Waters. Edward Waters, make this a little smaller so we can take a look. Edward Waters had a pretty big game this past weekend. And they went off. Edward Waters did something that I ain't gonna lie, I don't think anybody really expected Edward Waters to be this good this early, especially with the departure of their head coach, Toriano Morgan, right before the season. So when I think about this Edward Waters team, they are ahead of schedule, okay? You look at what they did to Miles College right now. This is Miles College, right? It's not the same. This is not the same SIAC contending Miles, okay? I will put an asterisk and say that. But we've never seen Edward Waters do anything like this to Miles, right? This is 46-14, Edward Waters, all right? Noah Botton, 15 for 25, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Got a running back down here for Edward Waters, Thomas, 10 attempts, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns, all right? The receivers pretty much split up the duties. Levette had 4 catches for 51 yards. Morris had 4 catches for 97 yards. All right, and then looking at this guy down here, French. I think French ended up winning SIAC Defensive Player of the Week this week with 3 solo tackles, 4 assists. I believe he also had a couple TFLs also. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the highlights. Let's see what's going on. I'm pretty sure they won't shut me down for this, right? It's only some little SIAC highlights. Let's take a look, y'all. Purple people eaters. I like that. Off the back. Hold on. Off the back. Dwayne went off the upbacks. Went off the upbacks back right here. Look at this. Whoop. Come on, Miles, man. Biden has always had a big arm. But it looks like he's finally begun to control it and put some touch on that ball and make it catchable. Look at that, because that ball pops out of his hands, man. It flies out of his hands. I love that throw. Ooh. Oh, my God. Y'all got to keep him clean, man. Okay. Nice. Edward Waters looks good, man. This is an Eric Dooley offense right here, y'all. He's got no time back there to do anything. Nice pass right there. Whoa. Whoa, not like that. Not, oh. Wow. Hey, you know, I have been saying that I think Isaiah Knowles is the best quarterback in the SIAC, but Noah Biden looks damn good right now. Wow. Look at this throw, man. Look at his base and look at his throw. He's just plant and throw right now. Easy. Look, plant, throw. That looks like D1. I ain't gonna lie. Now that looks like a D1 throw right there. Set and throw. Boom, boom. Oh. Wow. Whoa. Squabble up. Squabble up. Safety. Yo, they are tearing them up. Whoa. That's that Thomas right there, huh? That boy Thomas is fast. Look at the wheels on this kid right here, man. Look at this. Doing what they want, man. So Edward Waters just got up on Miles and just enforced they will on this team. Big win for Edward Waters, but Edward Waters has been averaging 43 points over the past 2 games. And coming into this week, they have their biggest test to date, right? They're going to play against Virginia Union. Super big game. Virginia Union is flying a charter plane to Duval, right? Straight to Edward Waters to play this game. Okay, it's going to be a super big game. Edward Waters, Virginia Union. Probably this is going to be the tiebreaker game for the SIAC CIAA matchups. But we're looking at it. Y'all just watch the Edward Waters team that is ready to go. They're going to sling the ball all around the field. In week 1, they caused 6 turnovers against Savannah State, which led to another 40-point win. And in week 2, Noah Biden explodes against a Miles team that just wasn't ready for him. 15 for 25, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Right? That's what Edward Waters is working with right now. So, next, I want to talk about Tuskegee. Tuskegee, hold on, we there? Right there. Let's talk about Tuskegee. So, Tuskegee played their first night game of the year. I low-key want to show I'll show the scenes of the night game after we watch the highlights. But my boy Raekwon Bill played pretty well, right? 15 for 25, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, all right? He did his thing back there at quarterback. He's becoming more and more comfortable, and he's looking more and more like the guy. This is a very impeding quarterback. You talk about Noah Biden being a good quarterback in SIAC. Raekwon Bill kind of has similar size and build. This guy's about 6'4", about 210 pounds. Very big frame, okay? Nice quick release, sidearm throw. Great touch, though. So we're going to take a look at some of the highlights. Hall had 2 receptions, 72 yards, and Irving had 4 solo tackles and 5 assists. So 9 tackles, not bad. So here is Tuskegee's first night game of the season. Well, first night game ever. This is the first night game ever in the history of Everdom at Tuskegee. So let's go ahead and show y'all that. Boom. Let's get into it. Hey, that joint rocking. It's like, hey, this sound lit. The all black jerseys go crazy. Mm. Nice. Now this is the atmosphere right here. I can feel it through the screen. Oh my God. No. Catching a touchdown to ball and parlay. I'll probably just retire my football career after that. After I caught a touchdown to ball and parlay, I would just retire. Cause it don't get no better. Listen again, man. That's insane, man. Skiggy was going crazy. Kendrick, you ain't tell me Skiggy was going crazy like this, bro. Dime. What a dime. Another look at it. Sweet. Fumble. Oh. Wow. He gone. That was a light show. But that opening shot of everybody outside was crazy, though. Where's the opening shot at? There's an opening shot that showed the crowd, man. It was just insane work. This was a game right here, man. Shout out to Tuskegee for having their first official night game. Shout out to the boys, man. Y'all did that. Y'all did that. I can't even front. This looked like the moment of the year right here. This might be top HBCU moment of the year. One of them, at least one of them. It gotta be. Because wow, what a atmosphere, what a game, and really big shout outs to this Tuskegee team because I doubted them. I'm not gonna front. I doubted them publicly. I doubted them, but they are looking damn good right now. They are looking like a good team. This is looking like an SIAC contending team. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about what they got to do next week to beat Jackson State, which is gonna be like they're gonna need a lot of prayers from us, but they look pretty good in Division II play right now, right? You beat Winston-Salem week 1. Week 2, you come in and shut out a Central State team that had a lot of – it's Central State, right? Make sure it's not Kentucky State. Yeah, Central State. You really do. You dismember a Central State team that was trying to get some momentum after a very good week 1 showing versus Kentucky State, the shootout fashion. So this is a big win for Tuskegee. They needed this, and there's a lot of momentum going into their Division I opponent. But it's a great start to the SIAC. That's a great SIAC opener right there. I must say that was something else right there. I like that. I think let me get off the screen real quick. I'm gonna try to find something for y'all. I know my boy Kendrick. Kendrick was actually there, and I think he has some footage of the game too. Let me see if it's in the chat or if it's on his profile. We gon' party all day. I'm gonna go to his profile. You can probably pull it up on there. Don't worry about nothing. But yeah, that Tuskegee game, y'all can't tell me that game ain't look lit, man. That game looked too lit. Like no, I had no idea it was supposed to go up like that. All right, so here we go. I want to say this is recent, right? Yeah, Power Rankings. Yeah, it's a night game. All right, so y'all check this out. Yeah. It was rocking, yo. Man, two different songs, or is that just an echo? Oh, it's Central State Band. They must be down there too. Are they having a little battle? What the boy come here talking? It's about to get ugly for Skiggy. Yeah. Nah, hey, look, man, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Hopefully, Skiggy gets out of that healthy. But okay, so that's my boy D2. He definitely was there, front row, front and center for that, and we talked about it a little bit on the D2 Spaces. I'm gonna try to make sure I bring that to YouTube also for everybody to listen to, because we get on there pretty much every Sunday and discuss the recap of Division Two and what's going on. So got a couple more little clips I'm gonna show y'all in front of the Tuskegee night game. Here's that light show. Somebody in the background said that electricity bill. You're not lying, but hey, this is a Division Two program, right? So all my Division Ones out here popping the big high grease, if your lights ain't doing this, if your lights ain't doing that, I don't want to hear nothing from you. I'm not gonna lie, because what? Like, look what's going on right now. Look at what we got going on at Tuskegee. Not only their night games, they got a whole lighting system. It ain't just lights that turn on and off. These lights go all type of colors. Yeah. If you epileptic, stay away. You feel me? So check that. That was the lights. Oh, this is coach at Central State. He was a little pissed off. I mean, understandably so. I think they lost like 34-0. So he probably mad at a lot of things. I think we have one more. This is a shot of the field. It's nice though, man. That's Tuskegee, man. Tuskegee had a very big night game. Shout out to them. Shout outs to the shout out. All right, let me bring up this next game for y'all real quick. Let's get through all these Division Two matchups, man. Glad I got to really spend some time with this. This show is all D2, by the way, too. So, you know what I mean? Go ahead, get comfortable. All right, so next up, we got Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta football. Pretty good team, right? They go ahead and they're going to have a rematch against a team that tied with them a year ago, okay? They tied with Florida Memorial because I think there was a rain delay or something of that sort. So they weren't able to finish the game, and it was a tie. So this year they get to finish unfinished business. Go ahead, handle business 17-12 versus Flomo. Zion McDonald did pretty well. Dual threat quarterback was 11 for 15, 148 passing yards, 54 rushing yards, including 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. So Zion McDonald did his job out there. We want to talk about playing quarterback and filling in the shoes of David Wright. This Clark Atlanta team did have a little trouble scoring their usual 40 points, all right? But Florida Memorial also is under new leadership. A new regime has taken over. I think I'm not sure if Bobby Rome is still the coach. Let me look. Let's see. Let's see if it's Bobby Rome, because I think my boy Damian was telling me that they have a new coach. I think Kendrick told me they have a new coach down there. So let's see. Or maybe they just lost a couple. Oh, Michael Jones is now the head football coach over there. Okay. Got it. Yeah, no longer Bobby Rome. All right. Well, yeah, they have new leadership down there, but they still had the same strong passing attack. So let's take a look at the game. See how it went. Let's watch it. Give me your thoughts, guys.
Over top, gonna kind of play man. They have some trips over there on the left side, the wide side of the field. McDonald barking out the signal. He'll keep it himself. McDonald has the first down and more. 30, 25, 20, 10. Can he make it? Zion McDonald.
Hello.
Touchdown. Clark Atlanta. Zion McDonald with the quarterback keeper. A 50-yard touchdown run for Zion McDonald. To the top, one to the bottom. 3-step drop. Bugs looking. He's going for it all.
Wow.
Bugs is interception. The young freshman Mitchum.
Hello.
Mitchum gets his first interception. The youngster, the true freshman from Grayson High School, Loganville, Georgia.
Dang, look at him.
Mitchum
The
gets
youngin.
his first collegiate interception.
That's a great catch.
Shotgun. He is sending them down the field. Wide open over the center field.
There you go.
It's a foot race. Why did you cut, young man? Run straight. He fumbled it out of bounds, but it was a foot race. You gotta keep going straight ahead.
Hey, Sly killing me.
To go 4th and 3, ball on the 13.
Oh, this is the same kicker that made the 60-yarder last year?
Ty Brown is your holder.
That don't look like the same. The dude from last year was a little heavy, though. This don't look like
Carlos Lopez is your kicker, the right-footed freshman kicker.
Oh, freshman.
Kicks it up, and he kicks it in. Carlos Lopez with his first field goal of the year.
That was important.
And you know I'm an old riverboat gambler. Anytime it's a turnover, I'm going deep down the field. Let's see what happens. Let's see what Coach Teddy Keaton draws up. There he has it, 3-step drop, and he's going deep over the top. He has a man, Ronnie West. Ronnie West will walk into the end zone. 43-yard touchdown pass. Zion McDonald to Ronnie West. And hey, if I can call plays that good, I think I need to go and buy a lottery ticket. It's up to $1.7 billion. I need that money.
All right, man. So that was Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta just put it up in spurts. I didn't see much of Armand Harris in this game. I didn't get the chance to watch the whole game, full disclosure. But I didn't see any Armand Harris in these highlights. It leads me to believe they tried to bracket him. And quite honestly, Clark, even in the week against Valdosta State, pull up their stats there. As much as Armand Harris was eating towards the back end of the game, they were feeding their tight end in that game. I did see Ronnie West a little bit in that game. Let's see, though. What's there? And I'm going to be honest. If you can get Zion McDonald to get to those little 50-yard spurts, 40-yard spurts, those type of games change up your offense and how you really work that offense and make it happen. So let's see. Do I have any stats? No, never. Never did ESPN have stats for D2. Why would I even look? Let's try here. Hey, all right, so here we go. Here's a game. We need stats, though, brother. So I would like to know about these different scoring options. Cause I think Ronnie West is a big option for Clark Atlanta. All right, so in that game against Valdosta, Zion McDonald went 14 for 30, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty good. But I want to get to the receiving, okay? All right, so here we go, receiving. This is how Clark is looking to spread the ball here. I'm going to take myself out of this. Got Armand Harris up top, 4 receptions, 65 yards. Got David Martin, 3 receptions, 61 yards. Kanan Johnson, 1 catch, 47 yards. Everybody else kind of, Darren Steffens has been there for a minute, actually. I forgot he was still there. Darren Steffens, yeah, he's also going to be another target for Zion McDonald. Pretty good receiver, graduate guy. He's been at Clark I think all 5 years. I think he's been at Clark. Like you see, his high school is from Rockdale County High School. I think he was been at Clark this whole time through the transition with Teddy Keaton. So a couple different options, and then let me see against Florida Memorial what they did. We gotta get the box score. So Florida Memorial. Check out these individual stats. All right, so as I stated before, so Zion McDonald only had 11 completions. They also got to put an asterisk on things for that, right? 11 completions, okay, he wasn't throwing the ball very much this game. But receiving wise, yeah. Armand Harris has 6 receptions for 37 yards. Okay, they really found a way. My bad, y'all not seeing the Clark Atlanta. My bad. Here you go, Clark Atlanta. My boy had 6 catches, 37 yards. Probably just bracketing Armand Harris. You want to think about it. Ronnie West still finds ways to get open. 4 receptions, 50 yards. David Martin's back on here on this list, 1 reception for 61 yards. So, we're just seeing a Clark Atlanta team that's going to have to change sometimes and not always rely on Armand Harris. We saw right here how quickly, or it seems like easily, that they can kind of erase this man from the program. So something to look after. I think Clark still got the win, so nothing too deep to look after, but just got to understand that Armand Harris, as much as he is your guy, all right, we need to develop number 2 and number 3 and number 4, and I think we're starting to see that now. So we're going to get into Albany State before we talk about this possible upset. I see that could happen, okay? So let's take a look right here. We got Albany State rolls over in the conference opener. They beat Kentucky State 49-21. Isaiah Knowles, man, what a baller. Isaiah Knowles, 25 for 34, 304 yards, 89 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He accounted for every touchdown on the Albany State team this past weekend. Herndon, at receiver, had 4 receptions, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jackson also had 6 receptions, 76 yards, 1 touchdown. And Corey, I think that's Corey Petty, had 2 receptions for 2 touchdowns, former Tuskegee wide receiver. All right, defense, Rose had 6 solo. So let's take a look at the highlights.
A wide out that way, the 2 here to the near side stacked. Back to throw is Williams. He'll roll left, has a man open in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Albany State. Knowles back to throw.
This footage is terrible. This is like some huddle footage, bro. Like, can I zoom in on Twitter with this? Nah, you can't really zoom in. I'm going to try to zoom in as best I can for y'all, because I ain't going to lie, this footage is terrible. So y'all get a good picture about what's going on, because jeez. All right, so let's start over. Look very closely, y'all.
A wide out that way, the 2 here to the near side stacked. Back to throw is Williams. He'll roll left, has a man open in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Albany State.
That was a dime, that little flick. Yeah.
Knowles back to throw. He's looking to the right on the corner route, and it's caught for a touchdown. And Herndon in motion. And Knowles looking that way. Rolls left, sidearms to Herndon in the middle field. Breaks the tackle, touchdown, Albany State.
These dudes going in untouched, though.
Knowles gives it on. Nope, he's going to keep it on the left side. He has room to run.
Ooh.
Cuts it back into Kentucky State territory. 30, 25, 20. And he'll step out of back.
No, we're going to watch that again. What? I ain't never seen Isaiah Knowles run like this, my boy. What was this? Out the backfield with it? That's how you feel?
Knowles gives it on. Nope, he's
Read
going to keep
option.
it on the left side. He has room to run. Cuts it back into Kentucky State territory. 30, 25, 20. He'll step out of back.
I like that.
Knowles back to throw on 3rd and 10. He has a man wide open down the seam. He hits him. That's Jackson, and he'll get in for the score. And it's 48-21,
Nice.
and it's getting out of control now.
Hey, that's when it ended right there. All right, so the boy did it. I'm not gonna lie to you, the boy did it. Isaiah Knowles is just a standout quarterback, man. You want to talk about a guy that's doing some things at a Division II HBCU? Isaiah Knowles. Like, this is the same way last year I spoke about David Wright. I even talked about David Wright possibly being a guy that could transfer out, maybe go up to Howard, up to SIAC or something. Isaiah Knowles definitely going to be on the lookout in transfer portal, right? If Quinn Gray leaves, everybody keep Isaiah Knowles' name at the top of your list when you talk about quarterbacks, because this guy is 100% of Division I talent. We're seeing it week in and week out. I don't care about the size. I'm watching the games. I'm judging by the eye test, and Isaiah Knowles has it, okay? So going into the next week, most interestingly enough, Albany State and Florida A&M have a game coming up. So I'd like to show you guys the odds on that. We'll have a quick discussion, and I got to make my way to practice. I ain't going to lie. My girls need me, and I need my girls, you know? So let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. I got the lines. You know, I always got the lines. I got the betting lines. I know what's going on. Got the lines for this week. And this week, we saw one of the most interesting lines I think we've ever seen this whole season. So let me go ahead and make this a little smaller for y'all. 1 second. Don't worry about nothing. And game day, I don't know if that was Steven up in there. I seen your comment, man. Why you take it down? All right, here we go. All right, so if you guys can see correct, let's make it bigger. At the top of this list, right, at the top of this list, shout out to FCS Reddit. They come up with these lines every week, and these are computer generated based on the team's win percentage and a gang of other characteristics. And the lines are actually pretty accurate. When the week comes around, like on Friday, you check the lines, it'll probably be pretty close to these lines, maybe 1 or 2 points, give or take. All right, so you got Albany State right now, and Florida A&M playing this weekend. The over-under is 54 points. But Albany State is favored to win this game by 6.5 points. 6.5 points. I have Albany State winning this game by 14 points. In 2 games this season, in game 1, Albany State scored 51 points against Shaw. They scored 49 points in game 2 versus Kentucky State. Albany State has scored a total of around 100 points this season between 2 games. In contrast, I believe FAMU has scored, 9 points the first game, 14 the next game? Around 30 points? 24 points? I personally feel as though Albany State is a team that has the most confidence going into this game. I think FAMU has actually had the toughest schedule leading into this game and are actually running into a squad that they don't particularly want to see after this stretch of games they already had, right? You just played against a Howard team that wasn't very good, but had a decent defense and stifled you guys and held you guys to no touchdowns. You go to next week, go play against a big not a Power 4 school, this is the FBS school, get absolutely pounced on. And now in your bounce back week, the home opener is going to be a night game. The home opener, you welcome in Albany State, and they're led by FAMU great Quinn Gray. And he's not just coming back as a homecoming. He has the top quarterback in the SIAC right now, Isaiah Knowles, with a team that just made to the SIAC championship last year. Like, that's the team that's marching into Florida A&M. This isn't just they're doing good, 2-0. No. What Quinn Gray has been building at Albany State has been growing for the past 2 years, right? His first year, he had a hard time transitioning to getting all the spread going. Last year, he was bringing in a lot of his big guys on the offensive line, right? Now, in his year 3 after going to SIAC championship. In year 3, I think he's ready. I think he's ready to make that jump. I think he's very much ready to make that jump and go ahead and get this win versus Division I team. And not only that, I think this is a tryout, right? I said this weeks ago. I think this game is a tryout for Quinn Gray being the coach up at FAMU. Because Coach Cozy ain't cutting it. He's not. Y'all can make these losses sound okay if you want to. But Florida A&M, Rattler Nation is used to contending. And this year, I'm just predicting this, but this year, we're going to see in the SWAC East, we're going to see Jackson State, Alabama A&M, Alabama State fight for that division. And I don't think FAMU going to have anything to say about it. Right? So I don't think Cozy has a comfortable seat over there at Florida A&M at all. Right? And I think once Albany State goes in there and all the FAMU fans get a look at this Albany State offense and what Coach Quinn Gray can really do, I think Quinn Gray is the guy. I can feel the trade coming. What you got, game day? Tuskegee lucky we left our hands somewhere on a 7-hour. I don't want to hear that. Don't do that, Steven. Don't do that, Steven, because look, y'all coach Massey was saying it's going to feel like a home game at Tuskegee, right? When he's saying that, we travel well, everybody will be with us, we're going to have support, it ain't going to be nothing like we ain't never did before, right? That was the WSSU kind of like thing going in. Like, this is, this ain't a crazy game, but it's the Red Tails Classic, baby. And, yeah, people got Gator hands. That's probably one of the biggest games some of those Winston-Salem players are going to play in this year. I'm going to keep it a bean. You want to talk about the element, the surprise, the stadium, the crowd. That's a humongous game. That's like a conference championship style atmosphere, right, in week 1. So, I mean, I don't blame him for having crab arms, Gator arms out there. That's a big one. And Tuskegee been playing in the same classic for the past couple of years. They kind of gotten used to it. We've seen, like, Kelvin Durham go down there and ball out. We've seen Johnson C. Smith go down there and ball out. That's a super big stage, super bright lights, man. But I don't think Tuskegee got lucky, though. That's the thing, too. I was looking I feel that. A&T did come to Salem last year. I feel that, definitely. I feel that with Salem, Winston-Salem, and I kind of want to talk about them a little more in the D2 little space, but I only got a couple, maybe like 10 minutes left before I got to bounce. But with Winston-Salem, I predicted that Dalen Lee would have to lead those guys, his offensive weapons, because he was losing some offensive weapons and bringing a couple new ones in there. And I think we all knew that he was going to have to lead this team this year. But I'm not sure if we knew about how big the learning curve was going to be for these skill position players at Winston-Salem, right? Like, how quick will they catch on, right? Because that's the one thing in the CIAA. You got to really be careful because there are a lot of top teams, and a lot of these early conference losses or anything like that really can affect you down the road. So I really want to see how fast Winston-Salem can get clicking because I think they're a good team. Dalen Lee's, for certain, a great quarterback prospect, but I want to see everybody really get clued in on that offense and look a little bit more cohesive. Yeah, the punt, hey, man, nerves. Nerves is a thing. But, yeah, as I was saying, I got Albany State winning about 14 points against Florida A&M, at Florida A&M in the home opener, right? This is humongous game, right? Humongous game. And a loss there will be a black eye to Cozy, right? I think the first black eye, I think he's had a couple. I'm not sure how the FAMU faithful like him or, how much they like him and stuff. And Steven says they like him. But first, I got strikes. I go through a strike system. You know what I mean? We in California. We got the 3-strike system. 3 strikes, you in jail forever, right? So out here, if we went by strikes, right, the first strike would be not continuing the home winning streak, right? Not continuing that losing that home streak that Coach Willie Simmons continued and started. That would have to be strike 1 for me because that hurt my feelings. Strike 2, losing to Valley at home has to be strike 2. Strike 3 for me would be not only losing to Albany State, but starting this season 0-3 for the first time in I don't know how long. That would be strike 3 for me with James Cozy. If I was a FAMU fan, if I love my football and I want my football to stay the same, and I'm proud of my program, if we stop our home winning streak, lose to the worst team in the conference, the next year start 0-3 and lose to a Division II school, now I'm tired of coach. Now something has to change, right? Because usually what people like to say is in year 2 we see the biggest difference, right? We see the biggest difference in the football team from year 1 to year 2. Has this Florida A&M team gotten better? Is the question that I'm going to be asking after this Albany State game, okay? Has Florida A&M gotten better? Because according to this lineup here, 54 points, and Albany State winning it by 6.5. If you split, let's do some math real quick, right? So we got 54. Right about 2, that's 27, but they get them 6 points. So they got this game being like 33-20, 33-21 Albany State, right? If FAMU indeed loses in some type of fashion like that, or does lose a 6.5 point spread, I think FAMU go ahead and kiss it. I mean, James Cozy go ahead and kiss his job goodbye. At the end of the season, go walk into the sunset. Don't even look back. Just goodbye. I love you a lot, but goodbye. You got to go, bro. Because there's no way. There's no way. There's too many strikes against you. Losing the Valley, losing to Albany State, you know, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I would like to say that I am the first one to be sounding the alarms on the Cozy train. All right, the Cozy train. I'm having a terrible trip. This feels nothing like Willie Simmons. Nothing like Willie Simmons' era. I don't even feel comfortable in saying y'all gonna win a game every week. Like, I will not pick y'all and pick them. Like, I'm staying away from y'all. Where in years past, it was I'm picking Willie Simmons and FAMU. So it's a different vibe. It's definitely a different vibe. What we got in here? I still say ECSU is on to get some money. Almost got Hampton. ECSU beat Hampton. That was a touchdown. I don't know what that ref was looking at. That was a touchdown. We all seen the footage, man. We all seen the footage. Ain't no way. What else we got in here? Michael Road Dog. Rattler Nation is used to complaining. FAMU is going to steamroll Albany State. Due to all you thinking Cozy's about to get fired and all that pressure of the kids, FAMU 40, ASU 14. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Michael Road Dog Reed. I'm not sure if Florida A&M is going to score 40 points this season against anybody. Does anything in that offense say 40 points? Like, I do like the running back room, right? The quarterback room and the quarterback development is the problem I got with FAMU, and I think that's the reason why they're in the situation they're in right now, because ain't no reason why they didn't score 40 points on Howard. And we're going to see that when Howard goes into conference play, and we see how bad Howard is. But there's no reason why FAMU shouldn't score 40 points on them. I'm looking at wide open receivers down running swing wheel routes all throughout the game, wide open. But we're not seeing it. That's quarterback development. And if that doesn't get to where it's supposed to be, at least by week 5, FAMU is in trouble. Oh. But I get it, though. You know, just because I'm saying this don't mean I'm right. Don't mean I'm right. I got a strong feeling. The same way last week I had a feeling Virginia State was going to beat Norfolk State. And ended up losing by 3 points in overtime. Right? I just got a feeling. I'm sorry. I got a feeling. I had to put it out there for y'all. Who else we got in here? Ram Nation up in there. What's the deal, Steve? They played better versus Mars Hill, but nobody care about that. Yeah, nobody care about the Mars Hill game. But, that's a good out-of-conference opponent. They loved him when he was an AD, and they want to hire somebody else. Running back, Cozy, wasn't even 2 years ago. Yeah, that's the funny part, too. I thought that keeping Cozy at FAMU was the right move to do at the time. But looking at things right now, I mean, let's take a look at FAMU's record from last year, right? Take a look at their record last year. We're going to take a look at their record last year, and you guys tell me if Sean Gibbs could have did this shit. Schedule. Okay, 0-2 this year. 2024, though. All right. We're looking at, I'm moving myself out the screen. Make that look like that. There we go. All right, let's look. So we're looking at last year they were a 7-5 team. All right. You barely beat Norfolk. All right. You beat South Carolina State, which was a good win. Probably one of Cozy's best wins. I'm not gonna lie. You beat Chennisberry in year one. Chennisberry with undefeated against MEAC schools. Good win. Okay. Losing Miami, losing Troy. We saw that coming. You beat Alabama State with no quarterback. You lose to Jackson. You beat Southern. Okay. That's actually a good win. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good win. They ended up going to the SWAC championship last year. It's a good win. Shootout with Texas Southern. Not a fan. Lose to a Prairie View A&M team that ends up losing their coach. Not a fan. Lose to Valley. And then you squeak one out against Bethune-Cookman, right? So you're 7-5 with your best wins. Well, let me finish schedule. Alabama A&M also is on there. All right. Not a great win, though. You're 7-5, and your best wins, I would say, is against South Carolina State and against Southern last year, right? So you prove you can hang with the big dogs, right? You prove with the MEAC. You beat the MEAC champion. I get it. And you also beat the SWAC runner-up. So I do get that. I understand that, right? But for me, the losses to Prairie View and Valley, back-to-back, when we're fighting to get to the SWAC championship, I don't feel good about it. Honestly, I don't. I don't. Another loss to Jackson State. I mean, I can't remember last time, I think Fort A&M beat Jackson State the last year they played, but about 1-4, 1-5 against Jackson State. You got to think that's a big game. So it all depends on what is your expectation of James Cozy, right? What is your expectation? Is it 10 wins or is it 7-5? What's the expectation? And for me, at Fort A&M, every year the expectation should be 10 games, 10 wins. That's just for me. The amount of talent they attract, the amount of talent that they are able to keep in retention at that school, the quarterbacks they have at that school, should easily be a 9 to 10 win team every year, just like how Willie Simmons had them rolling, right? And so it's year one with James Cozy was 7-5. Year two, we're starting off a little bit slow, so I'm beginning to get a little worried, and now I'm starting to hit the alarm on what's going on, right? But that's our line, all right? I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to back on out of here, man. We've been on here for about an hour. I do got to coach the girls today. I'm going to go ahead and read through the chat real quick. It was never going to be like Willie. That's a fact. I'm not going to lie. It was never going to be like Willie. It was never. But does this look promising? No. I don't. This is not promising. Starting off an 0-2 start. One of the games, FBS game, so I get it. But this game right here is probably the biggest game for James Cozy this season so far, right? Let's put a win in the win column. And look, Willie Simmons and what Willie Simmons built is always gonna look different. His final product is gonna look different than what James Cozy's final product is gonna look like, right? They will never. They aren't making the same type of goods. All right, two different type of guys. Understandable. But what is James Cozy making? Is he creating a contending team? Like, what is he creating right now? What are we getting out of this? We've yet to see. And really, when a coach or a team has this many questions around them, is around the time they get snuck. Right? When you're too busy worrying about yourself and you don't even think about Albany State, let's just worry about us and let's get us together. Well, Albany State is a wrecking ball. And they will ruin your party. And I think they're just waiting to do it. So the 6.5 points for Albany State, I like it. If that spread does come out like that, I mean, I would take the points, to be honest. I got them winning by 14. I would take the points. I'm going to be that guy. I would take the points for Albany. I'd go ahead, buy in on that. I think that over-under, though, will probably be under. Fort A&M has a pretty good defense. And Albany State, even though Isaiah Knowles did have 7 touchdowns last week, it's probably going to come down from that. I can't see him scoring 49 points again this week. Right, unless they absolutely rout Florida A&M. If Florida A&M is going to win this game or it's going to stay close, this game is going to be under 54 points. Florida A&M has not shown us they can score a lot of points this season. They struggled to 9 points in week 1 in the Orange Blossom Classic. So this is going to be a low-scoring game. ASU is tough. They are tough. My boy Dave, what up, Dave? I never liked the Cozy hire. Thought they picked the wrong guy. but that's what players and alumni want. I only thought it was the best option because it was the best way to keep retention up at Florida A&M. I thought maybe if Cozy leaves, they would lose a lot of players, and they still end up losing players, which is the funny part. But I thought maybe a mass exodus would happen if Cozy left. But I was not. I mean, I'm a fan of Sean Gibbs. I think Sean Gibbs would have been a good coach at Florida A&M. I think he would have been just fine, especially looking at the 75 season. Sean Gibbs could have won 75. I can tell you that straight up, 100%. A&T gets their first win Saturday. Who does A&T play? We're going to look at A&T, and then we're going to bounce out of here, y'all. All right. Okay. A&T and Hampton, right? Y'all got Hampton this week, Dave? I mean, they're beatable, but aren't y'all on y'all fifth-string quarterback? Like, look, I know. Hey, look, Dave. We saw Alabama State last year. We saw what they did with fifth-string quarterback, but their offensive coordinator is Chris Barnett, right? Probably one of the best offensive coordinators in the SWAC. Let's see who y'all offensive coordinator is. Since y'all let go of the boy Chris. Who's the new OC down at Greg McGee, offensive coordinator? I haven't looked into this guy yet. Okay. He got no bio. Just Bojangles. All right. Yeah, I don't think this guy is Chris Barnett, man. I'm not sure if y'all gonna be a deal with fifth-string quarterback. We did see that the third-string quarterback, Coach Gibbs. We can play that clip real quick. Dang, I'm not gonna be late. I'm about to leave after this. All right, we did see that Coach Gibbs. See if I can find a clip real quick. We'll talk about Southern sometime later, man. We all knew they was gonna change their offensive coordinator. Everybody could tell you that stuff was not gonna work. All right, here go Gibbs real quick talking about quarterback situation.
Our team. I mean, honestly, for our team, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I mean, we've got 60-plus points put on us, and we lost 3 quarterbacks. So, for me, yeah, it was a good environment. Great.
I ain't gonna lie, this man looks broken. Ain't no way. And I ain't gonna lie, Dave. Y'all say y'all gonna run the ball the past 3 years, man, with Coach Vincent Brown, man. That's the problem right there. It's too much running. We're not able to move the rock. And now without a quarterback, you're back in that same situation. We just got to run power ball. Y'all been running power offense for the past 3 years. And it's been the worst offense in the CAA. So I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried about A&T. I think y'all might go back to – have y'all won a game yet? Nope. See, man, this is a bad time to lose all your quarterbacks, bro. Y'all got Hampton. Then y'all got NCCU. Then y'all got Maine, William & Mary, South Carolina State, Campbell. I don't see any wins with the 4th or 5th string quarterback. Oh, man, it's going to be tough, my boy. Yeah, so A&T lost 3 in one game. I think the 3rd string quarterback played the whole game with a broken collarbone. So shout out to him for preventing the 4th string and 5th string from burning their red shirts, but he's out for the season too. I think we're going to be fine on Saturday. Offense in the middle of the pack of the CAA right now. I mean, it was with the starting quarterbacks, man. I'm really anxious to see what it's going to look like. Get started back later in the season. All right. Well, maybe we'll do an A&T show, man, or maybe I'll hop on Blue Death Valley with A&T Roy and all them boys and Craig and all them. And Samaj. But thanks everybody for tuning in, man. I gotta go. I'm gonna go coach the girls for about 4 hours. Go get right. We got a game tomorrow versus Hawthorne High School. So we gotta go ahead, tune up, get some things right, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me. Please, if you're still here, hit a like or subscribe and tap in with me. I'm gonna try to do a couple more lives this week, post a couple more videos. Thanks everybody for tapping in, man. Peace. I'm out.